Right, so if you've ever sat down to plan your content and found yourself staring at a blank screen an hour later, that's not a creativity problem, that's a process problem. And today I'm going to be doing this live on screen so that you can watch exactly how I come up with a full month of content ideas in about an hour using AI. So you're going to get the exact prompts that I'll be using, the frameworks behind them, and also the system that you're going to be able to repeat every single month. So let's jump in. So for anybody new here, my name's Jen and I'm the founder of the Women's Entrepreneurial Network. And content planning used to take me hours every week and I used to dread it, but now it only takes me one sitting a month and I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. So definitely go ahead and hit subscribe if you want more content like this. We do cover the practical side of building an online business every week. Right, so here's why most people run out of ideas for their content. So they're trying to create and generate at the same time. So maybe you're someone who sits down on a Tuesday and then you open a blank document and then you try to think of something good to post. Well, that, in my experience, is pretty exhausting because you're asking way too much of your brain by doing two very different things at once. So coming up with ideas and then immediately judging whether or not they're good enough to post, right? So what I do instead is I separate those things out completely. So first I generate lots of raw ideas. These are not filtered, they're not edited, and then I choose the best ones. And AI makes the generation phase really effortless. So what used to take a messy Sunday afternoon now takes me under an hour, and that's why I feel so compelled to share this with you today. So one thing that's really important is that you set your audience context first. Without this, you're going to be getting really generic results and suggestions that could belong to anybody. And this is not the kind of content that is going to help you and that's going to convert. So the prompt that I paste in at the start of every session is what I'm going to show you right now on screen. So I create content for women building their first online business, coaching, consulting, or digital products. My audience is mid-career women, 28 to 45, who want their first client or their first online income. They're short on time, overwhelmed by information, and skeptical of hype. My tone is warm, direct, and practical, no hustle culture. Right, so I generate ideas across 5 different categories, aiming for 6 ideas per category to get to about 30 ideas in total. So the 5 categories are myth busting, which are pretty much a challenge or a wrong belief that your audience holds. Next is teaching. This shows them how to do something specific. Then there's story. This is where I share a real moment or a learning that's from my specific journey, right? And then next there's validation, and this is what makes them feel seen and understood. And then there's the offer content, and this is what naturally bridges to what you sell. So spreading across these 5 means that your audience is getting a variety. So you're not just posting the same type of content every day, you're actually building trust, you're gaining authority, and you're sales ready at the same time. Right, so now I'm going to show you exactly what I type for each category. So for myth busting, I'm going to enter, give me 8 common beliefs women new to online business hold that are keeping them stuck around visibility, selling, what they need before they start, and timeliness. Right, so now for teaching, I'm going to add, give me 8 specific how-to ideas for a woman building her first online business. Things she can implement in under 1 hour. And then next, for story, I'm going to add, suggest 8 prompts that invite me to share a real experience, a moment of doubt, a mistake I learned from, and a before and after. And then I'm going to do the same thing for validation and offer. So by the time I'm done this exercise, I end up with about 40 raw ideas. And then what I'll do next is pick the best 30, and then I'm finished with the generation phase. So once I've got my 30 ideas, it's time for me to drop them into a simple table. And this is not going to be a complicated scheduling system. This is just a table with an idea, the content category, the format, and the platform. So I do aim for roughly about 7 ideas per week, spread across all my platforms. And this whole step takes me about 10 minutes. So here's where it gets really efficient. Each idea can become 3 pieces of content. So a short video, a carousel, and a caption. So I use this repurposing prompt for any idea that I want to develop. So if something is generally doing well, then that's an indication to create similar or more content the same. So what I would do is just enter in, take this idea and then paste in the idea, and then write me a 60-second talking head script, a 5-slide carousel with 1 headline per slide, and a standalone caption under 150 words. Keep the tone warm, direct, and practical. And then when it generates, that's 3 pieces from 1 idea. And that's how 30 ideas become 90 pieces of content. 90 pieces of content. So 1 hour of planning is gonna cover your entire month. Right, so I genuinely would love to know which of the 5 content categories do you find the hardest to come up with for ideas. Drop it in the comments and I'll give you a prompt for it. I'm really curious to see what comes up here. Okay, so content consistency isn't about motivation. It's about having a system that removes the friction. So one sit-in once a month and the blank page disappears. If this helps you or you want to take it further, the next video that I would point you to is how to find 30 days of content ideas, specifically using your offer as the anchor. Because once you connect your content to something that you're actually selling, well, that's when this really starts to work, and that's when your sales really start to increase.